Today we're going to be reading the story Kate and the Beanstalk. This week we've been reading stories about Jack and the Beanstalk. Yesterday we read the original story, Jack and the Beanstalk, and then this morning we listened to Jacques and the Beanstalk. So today we're going to read this story called Kate and the Beanstalk, and we're going to think about the characters, the setting, the problem, and the solution, how the character solves the problem in the story. And we're going to think about how this story is the same and how it's different from Jack and the Beanstalk that we read yesterday. After we read this book, we'll be writing in our journals about the text-to-text connections that we made to this story. Who can remind me what text-to-text connections mean? Luke?
It means you read a book and you think about a book that's kind of like it.
It's when you read a book and it makes you think of a different book that you've read, and you think about how those books are the same and why it made you think of that book. Do you need another cough drop? Go get one. Long ago, a girl named Kate lived with her mother in a humble cottage. One day, after a hard winter, Kate's mother was in despair. That means that her mother was very worried. "We are sure to die from hunger," she said, "unless we sell our only cow to get money for food." Kate was a plucky girl who loved to help. "Don't worry," she said, giving her mother a hug. "I'll take care of everything." And she set out for market with their cow. On the way, Kate met a beggar holding a small sack. A beggar, does anybody know what that word means?
No.
A beggar is someone who's begging for money, someone who's poor and they need money. "Magic beans," the beggar said in a creaky voice. "How extraordinary," said Kate when she saw them, for the brown beans shone like dark gold. "I don't think I can live without them." "They can be yours in exchange for your cow," said the beggar. Without another thought, Kate traded her cow for the beans and rushed home to give them to her mother. So far, is this story, is it a little bit like Jack and the Beanstalk so far?
Yes.
Yes? What's happened so far in the story that's like what happens in Jack and the Beanstalk? Daisy? Okay, so you're seeing in this picture that's coming up that the mom throws the beans away in this story, just like in Jack and the Beanstalk. What else has already happened that's like Jack and the Beanstalk? Madeline? She sold the cow in exchange for some beans. But to Kate's surprise, her poor mother was horrified. "Our only hope is gone," she cried. "Now we will surely starve." And she tossed the beans out the window. Hungry and forlorn, Kate went to bed. Forlorn is just like worried.
What does horrified mean?
Horrified means that she was just like, "Oh, I can't even believe it. This is terrible." During the night, Kate couldn't sleep. Why do you think Kate was having trouble sleeping? What do you think, Taylor?
Because the beans are make it sprout more.
Maybe she heard the beans growing. Why else might she be having trouble sleeping? Kobe?
She maybe heard something.
Maybe she heard something. I'm thinking about maybe the way she's feeling. It might be making her have trouble sleeping. Alex?
She just can't go to sleep.
Having trouble going to sleep? Does anybody think that maybe she's having trouble sleeping because she's feeling bad about selling the cow? Because was Mom happy that Kate sold the cow? No, I think maybe.
She didn't exactly sell it.
Yeah, she sold it for the beans, so she didn't get money like Mom wanted her to. So I'm wondering if maybe Kate's having trouble sleeping because she feels really guilty that she sold their cow, and now she only got some beans, and that didn't help their family very much. She got up and crept into the moonlit garden. She gasped. For in the darkest corner giant beanstalk rose into the sky. It rose higher and higher and higher still, till it disappeared behind the clouds. "Does it never end?" whispered Kate. Without waiting for morning, Kate began climbing the beanstalk. She climbed and climbed and climbed, and up and up and up. When Kate reached the top, light was creeping into the gray sky. Through a misty haze, she saw the most astonishing sight. Above the clouds was a countryside with fine woods, a crystal stream, a rolling sheep meadow, and a mighty castle. As Kate stared in wonder, an old woman hobbled out of the woods. "Hello," said Kate. "Is that castle your home?" Who do you think this woman might be that crept out of the woods? Kevany?
The giant's wife.
Maybe. She might be the giant's wife. Who do you think she is, Alexandra?
The owner of the castle.
Maybe she lives in the castle. You have a different idea, Skylar?
A princess.
A princess? What makes you think she's a princess?
Because she has a hat that looks like a princess and a dress that looks like a princess.
Okay, so she's wearing a fancy hat and clothes that make you
And
think
the
she could be a
castle looks
princess.
like a princess.
Okay, and maybe if she lives in this castle, she might be a
But
princess.
she would know.
"No, my dear," the woman replied. "It once belonged to a noble knight and his fair wife. They had a small infant and many treasures. But one day a monstrous giant came to steal from them. He killed the man and took over his castle." "How dreadful," said Kate. Dreadful is like horrible. "Fortunately, the knight's wife and baby were visiting in the valley," said the old woman. Afraid to return home, the grieving widow stayed below to raise her child. If you're grieving, it means you're very sad. "But alas, now they are very poor and close to starving." "That's so sad," said Kate. "Sadder than you know, my dear," replied the old woman. She looked deeply into Kate's eyes. "Perhaps you are the one to right the terrible wrong that has occurred." "Me?" asked Kate. "Are you afraid?" "I don't think so. I fear nothing when I'm doing what's right. How can I help?" said Kate. The knight had 3 precious treasures: a hen that lays golden eggs, a bag filled with gold coins, and the most wondrous harp in all the world, said the old woman. "If you find these and return them to the knight's widow, then she and her child will not die from hunger." Kate took a deep breath. "I will try," she said. Kate bid farewell to the old woman, then walked across the sheep meadow. As she approached the castle, a giantess lunged into the early morning light. So Kate decided that she was going to try to get back the things that the giant stole from the knight. I'm wondering if you would choose to do the same thing. I want you to turn and talk to your partner about whether or not you would try to get back the things that the knight lost. Why would you do that? Come back to me in 5. "Help me," the huge woman roared. "My husband makes me cook from the rooster's crow to the owl's hoot. Whenever I hire servants, he gobbles them up." "I'll be your servant," said Kate, "but but you must hide me from the giant." Kate helped the giantess make breakfast until the sun came up. When she heard the giant coming down the hall, she trembled with fear. His footsteps sounded like the booms of cannon. "Hide," whispered the giantess, and she pushed Kate into a closet. Peeking through the keyhole, Kate watched and listened. "Fee, fi, fo, fummin. I smell the blood of an English woman. Be she alive or be she dead, I'll grind her bones to make my bread." "Don't be silly," said the giantess. "You only smell the wagon load of bacon I fried for your breakfast." "Oh," said the giant. When the giant finished eating, he said, "Bring me the knight's hen." The giantess brought out a small brown hen. "Lay," ordered the giant, and the little hen laid a golden egg. "Ha, ha, ha," roared the giant. "I love my lovely little stolen hen." Then he put down his head and fell asleep, snoring as loud as thunder. What do you think Kate's going to do? What's she going to do, Kate?
Take it.
She's going to take it. What makes you think she's going to take it?
The person outside told her, asked her if she would take it, and she said she would.
Okay, so the lady that she met outside asked if she would help get back the things that belonged to the knight and his wife, and she said she would. So let's see if she's going to. Ever so quietly, Kate crept out of the closet. She grabbed the hen and rushed from the castle. She ran across the sheep meadow to the beanstalk. Down and down and down she climbed and climbed and climbed until she landed kerplop in the garden. Kate sighed with relief. "It's better if Mother doesn't know of the danger I've been in," she whispered to the hen. "Stay here until I can return you to the knight's poor widow." Kate hid the hen behind a bush, then slipped back inside her house. Kate knew she must disguise herself to return to the castle. Do you know what disguise means? That's what does disguise mean?
Kind of like, what? Different clothes?
Yeah, if you're wearing a disguise, Alex, you're wearing different clothes. You're making it so that it's hard to recognize you. That night she dressed in a wig and a beard, crept out to the moonlit garden, and climbed the beanstalk again. Kate climbed and climbed and climbed, up and up and up and up. In the light before dawn, Kate crossed the sheep meadow and knocked on the castle door. When the giantess came out, she roared, "Help me! I need a servant. The last one stole our hen and ran away." All happened as before. Kate helped the giantess make breakfast until the sun came up. When they heard the giant's booming footsteps and bellowing voice, the giant hid Kate in the closet. "Fee, fi, fo, fummin. I smell the blood of an English woman. Be she alive or be she dead, I'll grind her bones to make my bread."
It's a...
"Calm down," said the giantess. "You only smell the mountain of hash I made for your breakfast." "Oh," said the giant. When the giant finished eating, he said, "Bring me the knight's money bag." The giantess brought out a bag filled with gold coins, and the giant greedily counted them. "Ha, ha, ha," he roared. "I love my lovely little stolen coins." Soon, the giant's head began to nod. Kate watched him fall asleep. Then she crept out and grabbed the money bag. She ran out of the castle and across the sheep meadow to the beanstalk. Down and down and down she climbed and climbed and climbed until she landed kerplop in the garden. "Goodness," said Kate. "What a day. I must hide these coins until I can return them to the knight's poor widow." Kate hid the money bag with the hen, then slipped back inside her home. That night, Kate disguised herself once again and started up the beanstalk. She climbed and climbed and climbed She ran across the sheep meadow, and just as the sun came up, she knocked on the castle door. When the giantess came out, she grabbed Kate and cried, "Help me! I need a servant! The last one stole our money bag and ran away." Again, all happened as before. Kate helped the giantess make breakfast. Soon, the giant's footsteps boomed down the hall, and the giantess hid Kate in the closet. "Fee, fi, fo, fummin, I smell the blood of an English woman. Be she alive or be she dead, I'll grind her bones to make my bread." "You silly man," said the giantess. "You only smell the sea of fish soup I made for your breakfast." "Oh," said the giant. When the giant finished his soup, he cried, "Bring me the knight's singing harp." The giantess brought out a magnificent harp, the only one of its kind in the whole world. The harp sparkled with diamonds and rubies, and it had strings made of gold. "Sing," bellowed the giant. The harp began to sing a sad, haunting song. It sang of the past, of the noble knight, his lost wife and child, of golden days and starry nights. The harp's lovely song nearly broke Kate's heart. When the giant fell asleep, she crept out from behind the door, seized the harp, and ran away with it. But the harp was so frightened it sang high, fearful notes. "Help me! Help me! Help me!" "Quiet," said Kate. "I'm going to return you to the knight's poor widow." But the giant had already been awakened. He jumped up and with a shout and ran after Kate. What woke the giant this time?
The harp.
What woke him, Barbara?
The harp.
The harp, as it was screaming, "Help me!" It woke him up. Kate flew like the wind across the sheep meadow. She grabbed the beanstalk and started down with the harp, the giant fast on her heels. Down and down and down and down. She climbed and climbed and climbed until the giant climbed and climbed and climbed right after her. As soon as Kate's feet touched the ground, she shouted, "Mother, bring the axe! Hurry!" Kate's mother ran out with the axe, and Kate grabbed it. Why did Kate need the axe? Skylar?
To cut down the beanstalk.
Maybe she's going to cut the beanstalk. "Stand back, Mother!" Kate cried. With one mighty blow, Kate chopped the beanstalk in two. Down and down and down it fell. Down through the sky, and down fell the giant. Whomp! Down into the garden. The ground shook like an earthquake. Kate's mother took one look and cried out in horror, "That's the giant that killed your father!" "My father?" asked Kate. Who was Kate's father? Who was her father, Luke?
The knight.
Kate's father was the knight who owned the hen that laid golden eggs, and the bag of gold, and the singing harp. And this is the giant who killed him. And now, what happened to the giant?
He did. He died.
What happened to him?
He died.
Daisy?
He died.
He died now. Before her mother could answer, a fairy approached in a chariot drawn by two peacocks. "Greetings, brave Kate," she said. "As queen of the fairies, I have long wanted to avenge the treachery done to the good knight. But first, I needed to know if his daughter was worthy of her inheritance." Inheritance is something that you get from someone. Like, if you were a princess, then your dad would be the king, and you would get all of the things that used to be his. You would get them one day, just like Kate would get all of the things that used to belong to the knight. So I disguised myself as both the beggar and the old woman, and sent you on your quest to your father's castle. My father's castle? Kate looked at her mother, who nodded. I never spoke of your father after he was slain, Kate's mother said. He would be most proud of you now. Yes, Skylar.
My dad gave my brother Dylan, he gave him a medal for football.
Oh, okay. Kind of like the gold that they had in this story?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Kate hugged her mother, and they wept for the sorrow and wonder of it all. Then they climbed into the chariot and rose through the clouds to the castle that was once again theirs. Up and up and up and up. Kate asked the giantess to stay on as their cook. "Thank you for your kindness," said the giantess. "Would you like a biscuit and jam?" "Indeed," said Kate and her mother, and the giantess served them a biscuit as big as a cow.